Anime Secrets. The answer to all your burning questions.
Hey guys, what is up? I'm Davis here, and we're about to do a review for the newest Sentai, Doubutsu Sentai Zyuohger. And I'm also joined by...
What is going on, guys? I'm Nathan Bassam. I'm also known as Boken Silver here on Anime Secrets and Silver Knight on Otaku Sentai Digiranger, and we're also joined by...
Hey guys, Rizwan here, also known as Commander Drake of Anime Secrets, also the Blue Commander of Otaku Sentai Digiranger. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram under CMD Drake. And I am joined by...
Alright, y'all know what time it is. It's your boy, Ronald Budsy, a.k.a. the Green Terrier, a.k.a. you already know what it is, a.k.a. these Reese's Pieces ain't got peace around me, a.k.a. the Conquest Commando, a.k.a. the Untouchable, a.k.a. Mach 3000 Infinity, a.k.a. the Energy Bunnies homie, a.k.a. a.k.a.
You're done.
You're done. A.k.a. we're done.
Okay, before we get to the actual substance of this podcast, I have to ask you one question, Ronald. You do realize if you went Mach whatever 30,000 you said, that you'd rip a tear into space-time continuum, I think. Or you just explode and die. These are not good things.
You're trying to insult my people to know it, Ronald? I don't appreciate that.
But yet I'm still alive.
Because you haven't done it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or because I have done it and I succeeded with not having those consequences.
See,
Okay.
I don't know about that.
AKA...
Please stop.
Nope.
AKA...
Nope. You're done.
A.k.a. I'm gonna kick you if you don't...
AKA, I'm gonna end you at Akon next weekend.
Oh, boy.
Alright, Nathan?
Yeah, so anyway, guys, as we said at the beginning of this review, we're talking about Doubutsu Sentai Zyuohger, or Zyuohger, it's kind of weird how you pronounce that, and a few things to note about this season before we get into it. This is the 40th season of Super Sentai, and technically, I mean, we can't technically say 40th anniversary because, like, last year was technically the anniversary, but they love doing the anniversary by seasons, not by the actual years. But, yeah, so the 40th season of Super Sentai, Super Sentai's come pretty far, I mean, and it's gone by pretty fast, too, because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but Gokaiger still seems pretty new to me at times, still.
It really does.
I feel like Gokaiser was last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like, okay, and this is my personal opinion, I feel like it's not even 2 years since Gokaiser happened.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Because, I mean, it has been 2 years, right? How do we get to 40? Because, you know, we should be on 38 right now.
Well, no, I mean, probably because I haven't really watched, I watched Go Busters and, Kyoryuger, and obviously I watched Tokuger, but I mean, honestly, like, if we're gonna, like, it's still, I mean, it just feels unreal how we're at 40 now.
Wait, what is took what?
Well, okay, yeah, we don't talk about that, but,
No, I'm just saying, it's been a while since we had a good Sentai come out. And it's really refreshing. Like, I'll be honest. Okay, so when Zyuohger first was announced, I was really skeptical because a lot of the press we had in the beginning and a lot of the rumors going around the mill were this will be a continuation of Gao Ranger, which is the 25th anniversary season, which is what Power Rangers Wild Force is based off of.
And having seen Gao Ranger, I can tell you that a continuation of that show would not be a good thing. Like, I mean, I don't hate it because I think it has I think, like, the things that Wild Force didn't adapt, like, with some of the more, some plots, which I'm not even going to go into, like, I think that kind of worked a little bit more to its advantage, where I don't hate it, but it's still not good. Like, by any means. Like,
To be honest here, like they actually handle like all the animal stuff way better here than they did ever for Wild Force or Gal Ranger.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, another thing that really, really made me skeptical and almost didn't let me watch this season was the Zord designs or the mech designs, as you will.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I first opened the promo photos of it, I looked at it, I was like, okay, what is going on here? Is my computer pixelating photos for no reason right now? Because this looks really pixelated for Zord.
yeah, it looks like Minecraft.
Minecraft.
It was literally Minecraft Megazords, and I'm like, what? Why?
And then the
What's
fact
going on
that they're just the simple fact that they're repeating the basic animal motif again. That was something that kind of bummed me.
I'm okay with repeating motifs at this point because, honestly, we've had 40 seasons. You're going to run out of motifs at some point.
I mean, there are a few things they still haven't done.
I mean, off the top of my head, they haven't
I've
done...
been saying for a while some of them that they could do.
Off the top of my head, they could do space, insects,
Knights.
They're
Nice.
They're not gonna do insects though, because Kamen Rider's already recovered that like 500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Knights of the medieval time, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some things out there, but at the same time, I understand why they keep going back to like animals and ninjas and cars. Those are
I mean,
things
that's
that they
just
can
the
make
easy
toys.
stuff.
Yeah, they can make toys
Yeah,
out of it that
It's the
people wanna
easy
buy.
stuff. I understand that.
Like,
Mhm.
I was a little bit more optimistic about the animal motif when I found like, this isn't really much spoilers because I mean they revealed these in the promos, but like at least like 4 of the Zyuohgers were like, like they took like animal forms, and I was partially kind of optimistic about that because that was one of the things that I really liked in Geki Ranger, which is what Jungle Fury was adapted from. So that made me a little bit more optimistic. Like, oh, hey, I mean, if this is more leaning toward the Geki Ranger side of things and less toward Gal Ranger, then we're in luck because I really like Geki Ranger.
see, I
Yeah.
never saw Goku Ranger, so I have no idea what you're talking about right now. But when I saw the anthropomorphic mask for the Rangers, again, I was turned off because I thought this will be another really bad gimmick of some kind, and we're gonna have Minecraft Zords, Animal Rangers. The only redeemable way that the Rangers could work out this way is if they're aliens or something like that. That's the only way I could really justify doing that. If they're like mystical beings or something, they're like gods, I'd be over it. Like, I can't explain why, but I just didn't like the idea of mystical god, like, as the Rangers. It just didn't make any sense to me. And that was the theory going around the internet, is that these are mystical gods come to Earth,
Oh, that would have been bad.
So, I was a little
that's-
turned off by that too.
Thank God that ended up not being the case. Spoiler.
Yeah.
This entire review was going to be spoilers anyway. So
The only reason
Zero
I
Ranger.
even watched the premiere episode is because Anthony told me that I have to watch it, and that was actually a good episode. Which I was skeptical right up until the halfway mark, and then it all started making sense to me, and I really started loving it.
so
So yeah, things that I really love about the pilot episode. First off, the music score they used throughout it, from the
Yes.
opening to the Hensons to everything, amazing. Oh my god, I love that stuff.
yep.
The
This
opening
is probably the best
is
musical
probably one of my
score.
favorite openings of the Sentai I've seen so far.
Yeah, and the thing I love about the pilot episode too is, obviously in all episodes afterward, like they're gonna show the other 4, like the 4 Zyuohgers in human form. But in this like one opening, they only show them in their animal form. Like, no, we're not gonna like spoil it and show what they already look like as humans. I mean, yes, they kind of already did that, but I mean, it was a cool like
Yeah.
special for this one
Like
episode.
for all people who know who didn't watch the trailers, they should have just been like, okay, so they're gonna be stuck in alien, their the animal form for the whole series.
Kind of like how the first episode of Power Rangers in Space, like they never showed, they didn't credit Christopher Kamen Lee as Andros. Like, they didn't reveal his human form in that episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I mean, and that was really well played on their part, because that's just so that they planned things out. They were actually trying to keep some suspense from the younger kids who are really watching this without really seeing trailers, without really connecting to the dots, or having the entire internet to tell them what's going on.
yep.
And that was really cool on their part.
Definitely.
I think the thing that really made this the beginnings for me so awesome, and I'm gonna start talking about the episode right now. I really love the lore we're using here. Like, I was really skeptical as it was beginning to play out, but when we get down to it, I really like the lore.
Yeah.
Having it
how,
so
how
that
they... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
having it so that they're saying there's like 8 million species in the world, but you only know about like 1.2 million. And I'm like, okay, then where are the other 7 point whatever million species and all? And they're like, well, they're alternate realities of the same planet. I mean, that's kind of weird to think about, but it's also kind of really cool, because that makes you really think about, like, what else is there out there? And then we see Cubeland, and I gotta say, Cubeland is really beautiful. Like, they really designed that really well.
Mm-hmm.
My only real complaint about the Cubeland and the Zyuohgers,
You don't see enough of it.
yeah, you don't see enough of it, and also, I wasn't very impressed with the first scene where you see the 4 other Zyuohgers that are like the cast. Like, the costumes in the first few shots were not as great as they are later on in the series. Like, I feel like they updated it, they made it look a little bit better over time.
Are you talking about the actual like costumes they're wearing, or are you
Yeah,
talking about like?
No, I'm talking about like the headpieces, you know, like the elephant head, the lion head.
Oh yeah.
It didn't look like. It just didn't look right. It didn't feel organic or natural. It seemed kind of like. It looked too obvious. It was like a helmet, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, even now where I'm on like episode 6, it still doesn't feel like organic or anything. But I guess I've gotten used to them now. I don't know.
It's basically I'm used to it by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides, I mean, it's obviously just budget problems, and I guess you can't really fault the show for that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I also really, really, really am loving the red. Because we've had a string of really bad reds for a while now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, we've had 2 bad reds in a row. Like, Wright was horrible, and that guy whose name we're never going to mention, it was a pretty bad Red Ranger.
Yeah.
Let's start with like a T-ish. Says
Well,
something
okay.
about hot. I'm
Sounds almost like the name of a badass Sentai Ranger, Takaru, but they added different vowel. I don't know.
Taco
Tuesdays.
hey, Taco Tuesdays are pretty legit.
Taco
okay?
Hama.
Taco.
Well, okay, I mean, even going back a little bit further back, let's look at the last 5 red Sentai Rangers we've had. Marvelous is a complete and total badass. Like, he's just out of this world amazing. He's like one of my favorite characters of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And just, you know, my fandoms and all that. I love Marvelous. He has his faults, I'll give you that. Like, he's totally a Gary Stu. I completely agree with that.
I actually would argue he's not.
A lot of people say he's a Gary Stu, and I can see
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I
can
see where
see where
they're coming from, but no.
But I don't see him as a Gary Stu. I can understand why people say he's a Gary Stu. But he's just an amazing character to me. Like, he really did grow a lot. He really developed a lot. And he really was just the epitome of manliness and badassery.
Yeah.
And honestly, if that wasn't my first Sentai, I probably would not be in the franchise right now at all.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got, what is his name, Hiromu?
Yeah, my boy Hiromu.
Yeah, y'all, I don't really know Hiromu as well as you guys do, because I didn't finish the Busters. But I did
But
like
even if you didn't really finish the Sentai, you can like tell he's a good red.
He's good-hearted. Like, he's not like overly arrogant.
He was
overly
serious.
badass. Yeah, he's just like, he's a good-hearted guy thrown into like a really bad situation, and he's trying to deal
And they
with
dealt
it.
with his family drama a good amount of the time in the series too, like with his sister and everything. So yeah, I really liked Hiromu. I mean, some
Yeah.
people kind of criticize him and say that him being afraid of chickens was silly. In fact, I heard one guy said that reason alone makes like Go Busters a horrible series, which
Oh,
for the
that's
record,
horrible.
Stupid.
That's terrible.
screw that
No,
guy.
Go Busters is great. I just regret not finishing it because of school, but that's
Although
my
I
own
also,
fault.
of course, I don't even take that guy's opinion seriously since he likes Operation Overdrive too. But yeah, I mean, I like Hiromu. Besides, I mean, they actually later give reasoning why he's afraid of chickens. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then we got King from Kyoryu's, or why I cannot talk today.
You're you, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he's the first of the hot-headed. I think he's hot-headed. Like he's really impulsive as a red. Like he's really hot-headed, really arrogant, really like impulsive and all that. But at the same time, I loved his character because not only was he like really impulsive and hot-headed, he also really genuinely cared about what was going on around him, and he tried his damnedest to keep things going. Like he didn't stop and just based on his stupidity or whatever.
Yeah, he's likable.
He's a likable character. He's a likable oaf, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people really hate on him a lot. And I don't see the hatred as much as most people do.
The only thing I didn't like about him is just that he was just perfect.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely, a Mary Sue, but
He is probably the most, like, he is definitely the most blatant Gary Stu, probably.
But
I mean,
I'm okay with it because it's a one-time deal. He was meant to be outrageously Gary Stu.
Mm-hmm.
And everything about that I was okay with it. That's fine.
Yeah, but then again, like, he does have his own issues and also his own problems dealing with, what happens to his dad, why he just all of a sudden just left him, and you figure out what happened to him and all that stuff.
And I mean, the same thing's true with Marvelous. Like, Marvelous had a really tragic backstory too, with Red and with Bosco and all that. That was a pretty tragic backstory. So like the first three Reds have like some backstory that makes them how they are now. We kind of delve into that as the seasons go on. Toku didn't have that at all. There's nothing.
No.
Well, no, they did, but they didn't quite execute
They didn't do it right. They didn't do it right.
They didn't do it right, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, Wright was... He never learned.
Yeah, like, one of the positive things for Wright was that he was very hopeful and stuff, but then later on it got to a point where his over enthusiasm would kind of lead him to make some pretty stupid decisions.
On some Anakin Skywalker stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think my biggest problem with Wright was that, I mean...
And the thing is, no one calls him out on...
Yeah. But my problem is that, like, they spent most of the series revolving around a certain other character, whose name I'm not even going to mention, and then they just decide, like, at the tail end of the series, like, oh, now we're going to focus on Wright all of a sudden.
Yeah, Takati was not needed.
Mm-hmm.
Takati.
Togachi, or however you pronounce his name.
Tolamo.
Look, TV Nihon put his name as Takati. I'm going with Takati.
It's pronounced Tokachi, though.
Whatever.
Yeah, so now we're...
Tagati is what he is.
Now we're on Ninja, the fourth of the five.
And don't get me started on this guy.
So... It takes a lot for me to hate something as much as I hate Ninja right now. Like, there are very few TV shows I hate that much. One being Operation Overdrive, another being an anime, which I'm sure if you read my review on animesecrets.org, Akikon. That was terrible as well. Like, what even? Like, I can't even deal with this character. Like, Takahata was just awful in the awful sense. He wasn't.
And what's so horrible about it too is the fact that somehow, some way, he's always jammed into some sort of focus for every episode, including episodes that aren't supposed to be his.
Focus on him, yeah.
And the thing that sucks the most about Takaharu for me is that, I mean, I've seen his character dynamic be used before, ironically, in the last Ninja Sentai that we had, Hurricaneger, and it's handled like amazingly in that. Like, I mean, they portray the Red Ranger as kind of a ditz, but one, they don't make him perfect. Like, they don't make him like this naive ditz who somehow manages to succeed because, like, you know, the plot requires him to. Like, they show him develop over time, and he doesn't remain as ditzy by the end. I mean, and you probably would have figured that because we actually see that he's not as much of a ditz in Ninja. And
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what hurt about watching the Ninja?
The fact. Episode?
No, don't.
You asked me what hurt in the series.
No.
What really hurt was like they wasted three cameos.
Dealing with Takaharu. Yes, but the fact that, well, from what I hear, I mean, I watched like the first crossover thing they had with Shuriken. Well, no, I mean Hurricaneger and Kaku Ranger. I watched that one, but I never watched the other ones. But what I hear is that the Ninja pretty much dumbs down all those other characters that crossed over. And back to what I was saying before, what really hurt about specifically the Hurricaneger and Kaku Ranger episode, and just to clarify, I've never watched either of those, but just seeing the fact that these two old school ninja rangers who we all love and respect all of a sudden are thinking that this kid has it right instead of listening to their advice. No.
Yeah.
Nope. And the fact that they both, like, even the... Okay. Do you think that just because, like, they, you know, have fought this, like, this cat monster and, like, they were, like, kind of losing against him, do you think that they were at... just because they were at practice, or you just think that because the writing was bad that they had to lose to this thing? What do you guys think?
Honestly, I don't care.
Yeah, I was too busy raging about Takaharu being insufferable. Most of the time, I care about everything else.
This is about Sentai looking good again.
Yeah.
Make Sentai good again. Make Sentai great again.
I don't like how they treated my two favorite Senshis like that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Takaharu was just god awful. If I ever hear him say again, "It's so hot," I will literally Falcon Punch the nearest newborn baby, and I'm sorry.
I'm throwing him to a volcano. He keeps saying that, like, it's hot now. It's hot now.
The only time I've ever remember somebody complaining about something being hot in Super Sentai was in this filler episode of Gokaiger where I am accidentally spills tea on Navi and then he's flying around all over, but he'd be like, hot.
But see, that's endearing. That's funny. You know, like that's needed.
Yeah.
Navi was the source of our humor and our comedy. Takaharu was meant to be comedic, but he ended up being really, really irritating to the point of you can't even watch the TV show because of his character. Like, take him out, and I think the Ninja might have stood a better chance of being good.
Yep.
I still remember one Ninja episode where it was supposed to be his sister's episode, and he.
Yep.
I think, yeah. And she was gonna go back in time or something, and then all of a sudden Takaharu hops in just because he has to be involved too.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, can't you just let her do this?
I mean, okay, so the point of all this, like, recap, for those of y'all that are listening to this, it's not to rip on Takaharu and write, which it's fun to do. It's to demonstrate a couple of things. A, it is extremely important to have a strong red who's a good character. Because the red basically sets the tone. I don't care what anyone says about that. Like, yeah, the other Rangers are really important. Like, they're like good support cast. But 9 out of 10 times, the Sentai will focus on the red. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true. Like, I would much prefer to have had, like, some other Rangers have this equal amount of focus. Like, hell, I would like to have seen more of a Doc and all them from Gokaiser. I would like to have seen more of the Key Rangers. And,
So far, I've only seen 3 Sentais that don't predominantly revolve around the Red Ranger. Actually, so far,
Mega
I think.
Ranger?
Actually, no. I mean, not well. Okay, Mega Ranger revolve. Okay, so actually that's 4. But Go on. I don't know. I forgot about Mega Ranger. Honestly, Go Ranger revolved around all 7 of the Rangers. And then you had Jetman and Bokenger, both of which were very black centric. Actually.
Yeah, Black Kandar is like one of the better Rangers to exist, I'm told. I haven't watched it yet.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, those are the only 4 Sentais I can think of that don't predominantly revolve around the Red Ranger.
And I mean, again, that's not a problem. That's fine. But there will always be that one character in a Sentai that gets more focus and more attention. And if that character is terrible, your season's going to really suffer a lot. It suffered so much in Tokudzer and Ninja for just those 2 characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if Wright was a better Red, and if Takaharu just didn't exist, you might have had a better season and a better build up to the 40th anniversary than we do right now. Like,
yeah,
I feel like most people are really apathetic towards the 40th anniversary. Like, when the 35th happened, I was just getting into the fandom, so I saw, like, a lot of hype. Everyone was super excited. They were, like, celebrating and getting hyped up and excited. But there's not really that same thing going on here, and I understand a lot of it's due to the anniversary season being a lot different for Gokaiser.
Yeah, I mean, Gokaiser freaking brought back the classic suits and everything.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, and even like Go Buster and Kyoryuger, like people were excited about them. Like, I remember I wasn't really into Sentai at the time, but Patrick, Anthony, Ronald, you guys were all really into Kyoryuger. Like, y'all were hardcore. Like,
I wasn't into Kyoryuger. I never watched Kyoryuger, and I never will.
Okay. Anthony and Patrick were into it because we didn't know Nathan back then. I don't think.
Yeah, and I didn't even watch Kyoryuger as it aired actually.
So I mean, seeing the 2 of them like really passionate about like what's going on with Carnival Mode and all that, it really said that there's some good energy coming out of their franchise, and I said really good at Sans. So I did. And then we get stuff like this, and I'm like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
So seeing Zyuohger so full of the same kind of formula that makes Sentai great really gave me a lot of like hope for this season to be great. Yeah.
So, but yes, that rant's pretty much over. Point is that we've had like 2 straight years of meh Sentai, and now it's starting to look like
meh, terrible, god awful. Oh my god, that lawnmower, make it go away.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me started on that thing.
Oh man, look.
Destroy. Sorry, wrong sentence.
Destroy.
Exterminate. Exterminate. Must exterminate. But yeah. You want to do like a quick recap of what happened in this thing? I know we've been going for a bit longer.
I can't believe we went on a long tangent. We didn't even talk about what's actually in the episode.
We haven't even talked about the episode.
I guess I should rename us to Tangent Secrets instead.
Right?
Yeah.
No, this isn't about Right. Right was Tokudzer.
So we're wrong?
No, we're always right.
But we're not right.
No, we're not right, because Right's in Tokudzer.
Exactly, so we're wrong then.
No, you can't be wrong, because we're always right.
But we can't be right, because right is right.
No, but you can't be wrong, because I'm never wrong. You can never tell me I'm wrong.
But we're not right either.
Then, you know what? You know what? We're done here
Why are
with
we
this.
talking about right so much?
You said it there.
Anyway, so as we mentioned before, the red of Zyuohger is really awesome. His name is Yamato Kazakiri, and he's basically a zoologist, which is really cool. I want to say Gower Ranger had a similar thing with the red being a veterinarian or something, right?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
And he wasn't a bad character either. Like, he was just like meh. I mean, he's not cold. Okay, so that's fine. But yeah. So to pretty much like sum up the plot of this first episode, I'm not going to go over like plot point for point. But what happens is that Yamato, who's a human from our world, pretty much, he's going through a tour in the forest. And while he's there, he finds this mysterious cube, like this really small cube. And while he's going through the forest, he finds like this big giant cube, like floating like right in the middle of nowhere. And when he puts like his small cube into the bigger cube, he gets beamed into this other dimension, which is called Jewland. And while he's there, you can pretty much guess where this goes. Jewland is this big alternate reality where, it's populated by all these anthropomorphic, animal-like people. The first four people that he comes across are, the four people that he comes across, there's Leo, who's this, yellow lion guy, Stella, who's a shark, Tusk, bet you can't guess what he's based on.
He's a gopher.
Yep.
A saber-tooth tiger.
Yeah, no. Well, that'd actually work.
He's an elephant, just in case you didn't get that. And
his name is like the only name is L1 original. Like, really, Tusk is all I could think of.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Amu is a snow tiger.
Yeah.
And the thing I want to note about this, though, I mean, some people were already making memes about this. Like, with the exception of Amu, people love to like make references to how like Leo, Sella, and Tusk were kind of references to some of the Kamen Rider O's villains. Like, like Sella.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah!
It kind of does, if you think
That
about
is
it.
so true!
I mean, it's just too bad that they don't have an insect one, because then they could, like, it's just too bad that, like, Amu's not an insect-based one, because then they could have done, like, an Uba-based one. Because everyone else is exactly
They
like
pretty
it.
much did everybody, even Onk got one, too.
Yeah, like, I mean,
Oh,
like...
shoot, you're right! That's crazy!
So... Yeah, that is crazy. But,
So, Yamato wakes up in the Zio land, and the first thing he sees are these four characters like peering over him like, the heck am I looking at? What is this thing?
And they're looking at him like, the heck are we looking at? What is this thing?
What's
so
that thing?
it's all a culture shock for them. Like, when he gets up, he can see, like, in the background are more anthropomorphics of, like, zebras.
Like,
They
they
look
start
like,
screaming,
I
he
feel like the
starts
zebras
screaming.
are like priests or something, though.
Right?
yeah,
They definitely look like priest zebras, which is kind of cool.
yeah. Pretty sure.
You can clearly tell where the budget really prioritized, because the zebras zoom in just look really dumb.
Well, it looks like...
Yeah, but-
Okay, whenever you get to, like, an anime convention, you'll see those guys walk around a horse mask. I feel like they went to the
Yeah,
same
that's
store
pretty- yeah.
and bought the and bought zebra
Exactly,
masks.
yeah, that's what
there.
I was thinking too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But
I
yeah,
was very
during
sell
the
them.
scenes where they're... Sorry about that.
Oh, you know what, Ronald? I should buy a zebra head and cosplay one of the priests for
Oh
Akon
my
next week.
gosh, no.
That'd be hilarious.
Oh my god. Can we do this? Like, can you take me to like, a costume store in Dallas next week? Can we
Bro,
find one?
bro.
Oh man, I want to do this now so badly. This needs to be a thing, Ronald. You don't understand.
Bro, your dignity.
What is dignity? We're having
We-
fun with trolls.
we don't know that is.
Yeah,
Sir,
you
sir,
take
we
your
don't know what that
fancy
is.
smancy dignity back to wherever you came from, Mr. AKA not the best at anything.
Nani?
Nani? Anyway, so yeah, they're
I'll
like
almost say this: like the scenes where they're in Jewland, they're actually handled pretty good. Like they make it look like a pretty big world. I mean, we see people who are like in pig and panda and like alligator costumes. So I mean, they didn't just like make like this is one thing that I always hate about these kinds of stories because like I mean, okay, obviously you know where the story's gonna go. Like you know the like poor people trying to find their way home, and that's like you know a big part of the Sentai. Like the story. I mean, they've done this before. Like it was the main plot of Ginga Man, and it was the main plot of Go Sager. I always hate how they do this, where like they're out like we're not.
They won't show
the world. Like I don't even think they show the Gosei world at all in Go Sager.
Nope.
So I am really glad that they are like showing us like this world enough to the point where like we can kind of understand why they would want to go home. Like I mean, I'm just beyond appreciative about that.
so while this is all going on, there's some aliens in outer space coming to Earth, and they arrive in Zeoland. And no, wait, hang on. They don't arrive in Zeoland. They arrive on Earth, like human world, and they knock a cube out of the cube in Earth, and Yamato starts freaking out and saying, "I have to go back home. I cannot be stuck here forever. I have a life to live." And the other four are like, "Well, we can't let him escape. He's our prisoner." So they all chase after him, and they all end up in the human world, right in the middle of like this huge forest fire. And things are going crazy. And during all the turmoil, we notice a mysterious figure take a cube and walk away. I'm calling it right now, that's the sixth Ranger, because there are 6 cubes and one's gone missing.
Wow, first episode and they're already working toward bigger plots. Congratulations.
Yeah.
At least they confirmed that it is 6 and not just 5. And oh wait, there is 6. Wait, 6? I'm referencing Gal Ranger slash Wild Force.
I get a feeling that we're gonna get more than 6 at some point, though. What do y'all think?
Go ahead, Nathan. Go explain to our viewers what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, that was just. I mean, I can't remember if this was like in Gal Ranger, but like yeah, in Wild Force, like all throughout the series, like in the early episodes, Princess Shayla and like all these people who are telling the stories of the Animaria, they almost like usually like always say like 5 ancient warriors like fought against the orcs, but then like when the Zenaku story arc comes up, right the heck out of nowhere, she suddenly says 6, and then everybody's like, wait, 6? What? You're just now telling us this? I mean,
even Likara said it. He was like, what? You can't just change it at the last second.
Yeah, so they're actually going consistently with a plot here. Like, they're actually trying to build one up from the beginning. Meaning they have a clear direction what they're going to do, which is really good, in my opinion. So, yeah, the Link Cube connection is destroyed because one of the 6 cubes is missing. And, they end up meeting the Monster of the Week, who... the 4 Zeoman start fighting him, and they figure out that they can use the cubes that they have from the Link Cube to Henson into the Zyuohgers, and they try fighting him. And they're doing really well, right up until he brings in the Air Cavalry, and then they start getting wrecked.
And as for the Henshin, I'm just going to say this. I mean, this is like so refreshing. For one, like, for the first time ever since Go Buster, so it's been kind of a while, and it seems like Sentai has been like leaning toward this ever since Go Sager. We have a Henshin where they just use the Henshin devices, and there's no gimmick that they're required to use to transform. Thank God.
Let's see. We have.
You mean like something to insert in there?
Yeah. No, like the Gokaiser keys, the Kyrizer little
batteries.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, the Zidensi. The Tokyo trains, or the Ninja little
shurikens with the swords.
Yeah.
And then those Gosei cards, or whatever they call it for Go Sager.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Go Buster.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Go Busters was the last season where they didn't have a gimmick because Go Busters was actually trying to be a bit more plot driven and not just sell toys. So thank God we have another
I just love how like the one of the few Sentais that doesn't do a gimmick. It's like had the least sales. I'm just like, really? Like you care about more about the? That's just a mini rant. But I'm
okay. The thing is, though, you got to remember that Toei and Bandai are not in it for the story and all that. They're in it for selling toys.
Mhm.
Like to them, the
Unfortunately.
Sentai and the Kamen Rider franchise is nothing more than a way to get the kids hooked on the toy by showing them how cool the toy can be in a real, life setting. Because
Yeah.
then the kid will be like, if I get a Mobart, I can become Captain Marvelous. Or if I get a Gabba Revolver, I can be
I can
just
do
like Ian or something.
Yeah.
So
And-
it's not really
If
If I get the
about
Kiwami Lock Seed, I can paint the world in my image.
what?
That's
Wait,
a John
wait,
Fred-
wait!
that's
Explain
a-
that reference. What?
No, it was no, it's a thing in Gaim, like his Gaim's final form, like is kind of like some sort of
I think that would get into some spoiler territory.
Right. you're gonna have to watch. You're gonna okay, it's pretty much just Gaim's final form, and you'll have to watch in order to understand that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But on another note on the Henshin though, I mean, I gotta say, I may not have been the biggest fan of the suits when they first appeared, but what I find, when I saw them in action, honestly, and even after having only watched them in 4 or 5 episodes, I could say that the suits have grown on me. I don't think they're amazing, but I actually do.
Oh, the Theo suits.
Yeah, I'm kind of starting to grow on the suits a lot. I kind of.
Going back to my rant in the beginning where I said I had a lot of things working against me about this season, the suits were another thing that worked against me in the beginning as well. And to a certain extent, no, I actually like the suits now, but in the beginning I was like, these suits look really tacky. You have this animal screen printed on your chest, and that's all you're really gonna do with the suit. It's just not that creative to me. But now that I see them in action, and I see later on episode 5, you see something that happens that'll make you understand why it's like that, kind of.
Mhm.
I can start to respect it more.
Yeah, actually the suits don't really bother me now that I've actually seen them in action.
Yeah.
And you
In
know
action,
what?
they're not as bad as they.
I've only been in the franchise since Toku really started airing, but I remember when Toku was announced, nobody liked the Toku suit. But
Except
yeah, but by the end of it, we were okay with the suit. We weren't super thrilled with it, but we accepted it.
I wasn't entirely ready to accept it even by the time the series ended, but okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of people did,
Uh-huh.
And with Kyoritsu, I remember people complaining around that time, these suits look terrible. What's even going on here?
Really?
Yeah, I've heard people say that.
I like those suits, though.
I did too.
Well, yeah. Now that we actually seen them, the Kyoryuji suits are
No,
one
but
of the
when you
best.
get the first press image of them, the first leak, I feel like it's a common thing where people will just complain about how the suits look because they don't want to accept the change when you see every Sentai.
Mm-hmm.
Go Busters is a really weird looking suit as well.
I like the Go Busters.
Oh, I love
suits.
Go Busters.
I really like.
amazing.
Go Busters
I
is one of my
understand why
favorite
some
suits.
might.
They're
I
really
understand
unique.
People might hate those suits, but I really like them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice to. I mean, after so many years, ever since practically Dynaman for several decades of having suits that are made from spandex, it's finally nice to have suits that aren't made from spandex.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's always going to be that way. I'm sure when we get to 41st season, we're all going to hate it in the beginning. We're all going to hate everything about it. Because it won't make sense to you why they chose what they did until you begin watching it. And
Mhm.
sometimes you're going to be disappointed, sometimes you're going to be pleased. This time we were pleased with it. With Toku, we were not pleased. And I mean, it's also a matter of perception. Over time, you're just going to get used to the thing.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, to pretty much continue on with the plot, those 4 guys are fighting, and then Yamato, he gets this 5th cube, and of course he's mad because he's a zoologist and he's seen all these people, these guys killing animals and hurting nature, so he gets mad, and yeah, and of course he wants to use the cube to transform, and everybody's like, like, hey, you can't use that because you're not an animal. And then he's all like, oh, but humans are animals too, which technically they are. And he uses that to transform into the fifth Zyuohger, the bird-themed guy, Geo Eagle, because a thing about this one is that they're not referring to each other by their colors; they're referring to each other by their animals, which is cool. And
Yeah.
they defeat the monster of the day. Well, Takoharu. Dang
Not
it! Wow.
No. No.
Dang it.
No,
Failed the
Nathan.
video.
Nathan, you're
was-
done. You're done. No.
That was fail.
No.
Yep.
No. No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So
I
Yamato
His
His
thought
name
I-
is
Henshin
Yamato.
device.
Yamato. Yeah, I gotta get used to that.
You need to forget Takaharu existed like we did.
Okay, I will.
Who is this guy again?
Okay, so
Who's this
Yamato
Taco Hatu?
is able to defeat the monster, but then of course, because this is my only real gripe with the episode because I really don't like how Sentai's been doing this. Okay, they kind of did it with Kyoryuger because they showed, they did show Gabatira in the first episode of Kyoryuger, but ever since Tokyuger, they've always had to introduce the Mecha in the first episode because I know that Tokyuo was in the first episode of Tokyuger, and I think Shurikenjin was in the first episode of Ninja because I don't know, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they make the monster grow, and they're able to use, and the Zyuohgers are able to use their cubes to summon their
Zords.
yeah, they're called Geo cubes, and they're little cube like Zords, and they they combine them. Not all five of them though, because in a weird way, this mecha works where it revolves around a Yamato's Eagle cube, or
And then two more.
whatever the individuals are called.
I do like how the announcer guy says the names of the cubes and stuff.
I personally think it's annoying.
Well, I like it.
They combine to form Geo King, and I'm gonna say this about the mecha, just real quick. I don't think it looks amazing, but I will still stand by my claims that I actually do really like it a lot more than how the Tokuger mechs look, at least. I know that a lot of people disagree with me on that, but I honestly like the look of Geo King, almost infinitely better than I like how Tokuo looks, because I cannot get over how bad Tokuo looks. So
It looks better. It looks better when you're watching it fight, but the toilet just looks mad to me.
yeah, okay, yeah, it's pretty much like the Tokuo effect. The toy looked bad, but I don't even want to say the Tokuo looked that great in the show, honestly. But
I thought it did.
But yeah, so they combine to form Geo King. In this case, Yamato, Leo, and Sella combine theirs because apparently these three squares pop up. And what's funny is that Yamato, Leo, and Sella go through, but then Amu and Tusk try to, and they're not able to. It blast them out.
They got that VIP pass.
You are invited. You weren't invited.
And they actually transform this they stack on top of each other, and then this small little giant sword pops into the top to become the head, and then it becomes its main weapon for Geo King. And they finish off the monster of the day the elephant and tiger cubes or whatever they're called. They add some firepower, stun the monster, and then Geo King defeats the monster. And
I love how Geo King is formed of three of them, and when they try and add 4 and 5, they're blocked from entering the combination area.
I think Ron hilarious.
Yeah.
And looking at the individual mechs now with how small they are, I don't think they're. I don't know. It may be simple, but I guess I'm okay with it going back to some simple stuff because after all, this is an anniversary season, so they might try to, make some callbacks to the to older Sentais. So going back to simple mechs is actually not a problem with me. If it's an anniversary season, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So with the monster defeated, they go back to the Link Cube.
They figure out
you
the
know, they
sixth
can't
cube is
go back.
missing.
Yeah, the sixth cube is missing. They have to figure out how to get it back. And then, you know, because through some like weird thing that I don't even think is like explained, the cubes give the 4 Jew men human bodies. Like they get human heads, although they still have their tails.
Tails. Like that's
Yeah.
And that's
hilarious.
interesting. Like, and that's actually going to be an interesting theme that'll come up in like later episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tails are vital important.
And
So-
the episode ends with Yamato. He introduces himself, and Leo, Amu, and Sella are all, you know, great. They're like, "Hey, you're all right. You seem like a good guy." But then Tusk, you know,
That
because
boy Tusk is a hater.
he has to be the
He's
hater,
not my boy.
and he's like, "Nope, I'm not going to follow you, Yamato. Like, I ain't going to follow this crowd."
And about that life.
Screw you, man. I'm taking my cube. I'm going home. Wait.
But you can't go home.
Screw you
Dang it.
guys, I've got my own suits box.
And yeah, that's how the
That's
first
where the episode ends.
Yeah.
I can say right now, I'm on episode 6 of Zyuohger, and I can see myself going all the way through with the entire season without like really getting too frustrated with it or anything. I'm really loving it so far. Like things that happen later on. Oh my god, so good. I know we're on like episode 14. I'm trying my best to catch up, but work is kind of like, nope, no catch up for you.
And something that they did that we kind of didn't mention much in the fight that I really like is this kind of sorta ish power up mode that the Zyuohgers get,
Oh
where
yeah.
like, well, okay, it's kind of like it's like based on their animals. Like Stella gets a fin that comes out of her back. Tusk gets like these huge elephant feet, and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Instincts Awaken.
Takaharu gets
Yeah.
wings.
yeah. And I really
Bro.
like that 'cause-
Whoa. Nathan, I hate you now. Get out.
Look what you did, man.
Nathan.
Oh, dude.
Nathan.
Did Nathan?
I fucked up too, guys. I shouldn't have done that.
It's all your fault. I am
Oh,
so
brought this
sorry,
cancer
Yamato.
into this.
Yamato, I am so sorry. Please forgive me, Senpai. I will never do that again.
And what is it that Leo and
Also
Amu
scared to
get?
be-
Like, what are we?
Yeah, they get stuff.
They pretty much just get claws.
No, but I really like that because I mean I like how it like the like add-ons that they get is based on their animal and it makes sense because I mean like with Gal Ranger they sort of did something like that but you know they just put claws on you know on everybody which you know which makes sense for Gal Red and Gal White but why would Rangers who are based on like an eagle, a shark, and a bison get claws? That makes no sense. So yeah.
It really doesn't.
So yeah, I mean, we forgot to mention that, but yeah, I really like that, like sort of kind of ish power up, and I mean, and yeah, sure. I mean, it would have been cool if they introduced it in a later episode, but you know, I mean, it's still cool. Like, besides, it makes sense how the Jew men would kind of know how to use that immediately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another thing I appreciate about this first episode is the fact that already we establish a bit of a shake up with the team because Tusk at the end of the episode is like I don't quite trust I'm not quite up for just immediately being buddy with this guy. So
A human of all
already-
things.
Yeah. So we already have an established point of character development for one of the Zew-men already on freaking episode 1.
Even though I don't like Tusk, I do like how like
Yeah.
man
Yeah, I'll admit I don't like Tusk. I still don't like Tusk, but still though, just the fact that the writers established this so soon was good.
And I think they do a good job at establishing the personalities of all 5 of the.
Yeah.
I mean, some more than others. I mean, like Leo being kind of like the hyperactive one. Although honestly, like, I mean, I knew that Leo was going to be the hyperactive one the minute I saw
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
That
his
hair, though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not sure how to explain it, but just that hair, I mean, kind of gave it away. I mean, I'm not sure how to explain it, but yeah. I mean, I couldn't get like Sella the most. I mean, now that we look at her, she's supposed to be more of a tomboyish person, but yeah, I mean, I think for the most part they managed to get down the basic personalities of each of the like Zyuohgers pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, for once, I mean, while the final part of the episode is about Yamato and like him and like about like him coming and defeating it, like, you know, it predominantly revolves around him. They still don't like overblow it, like, you know, make the episode like practically all about him, like, because I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, you know, with the first episode of Tokyuger, almost everything revolved around right. I mean, hell, that entire episode was about him becoming a Tokyuger while everybody else already was a Tokyuger. And you know, with Ni Ninja, like, I don't know. I mean, Takaharu may have already had his Ni Ninja powers, but they still just kind of focused on him way too much to the point where the other ones just felt like an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
Which, ironically enough, reflected the entire season. So yeah.
If I did have a complaint for this episode, though, and this is actually a complaint that I have for the whole series right now because I am caught up. And I can't believe y'all kind of skimmed over this point, but the villains. I'm not completely bought on these villains. They're not very impressive to me.
I will say this: there's not like anything impressive about them, and that's not kind of don't really think about them too much. But I do love the way they make their monsters grow.
Mm-hmm.
With the continue thing from Naria.
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, it kind of goes with like this subtle video game theme that they're kind of trying to do with Zyuohger.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, how does that really correlate with the whole animals theme? Like,
well,
they're having two really bizarre themes that have nothing to do with each other to try to mix together animals and evolution on one hand, and then a game.
Well, to that I just ask you this: how do angels and trading card games go together?
Well, I mean, with that, it's not like they completely made. They didn't really make the trading card thing like that thing wasn't really utilized to the same effect that they're doing with the whole game thing, because they're literally calling it a continue and stuff, and they literally use coins to revive them. And
yeah, I mean, I guess I can.
You get what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah, I don't mind it, but I see what you're trying to say.
I mean, and I don't see any interesting things to come from these villains. Like, the main villain's goal is just he wants to be entertained. I mean, I don't see anything interesting coming from that.
Honestly, I mean, I know that we're not going to get much like from him in these next few episodes, but I can give a little. I mean, I can give a little bit of a like latitude for like the first episode, because I mean, I've rarely, if ever, seen a first like a Sentai first episode where the villains do anything other than just having that one scene where they're exposed, like, hey, we're here and we're going to take over the world, ha 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 ha, and then that's it. That's the only scene where they're in. So. But yeah, I can see where Ronald's coming from.
I mean, this whole blood game thing, I mean, they got the threatening thing down, I guess, but in terms of being actual, like, interesting villains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. but yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, you can't have good Sentai seasons without really interesting villains. Let's be honest. Shinkender's villains, with the exception of Juzo Fuwa, weren't really that great. But
Yeah, I guess.
actually, no, I take that back. Juzo Fuwa and Dayu. That was her name. But yeah, I can see I can see about the villains. I can't even remember any of their names right now, actually. So, but yeah, I think overall, I think the episode was good. I don't think they needed to put the mecha in this episode, and I really hope that Sensei gets out of his trend because, even Power Rangers doesn't always introduce the mecha in the very first episode.
Yeah, I like when they wait a bit before doing that.
Hell, I would have liked it if they would do a callback to maybe some of the older Sentais where you wait maybe 6 or 7 episodes before introducing the Mecha. Because I'm watching Choriki Sentai O Ranger, the season that Zio is based off of, and I was really surprised by this, but they don't even begin to introduce O Ranger Robo until episode 7 or 8. So yeah, they waited a long time with that. So that was kind of surprising.
Didn't Go Busters wait around that much episodes before they used Go Bustero?
Yeah, they did. And we all know about G Ranger. They didn't get Daijujin until episode 6 or something. So yeah, I would just really like it if Super Sentai did that a little bit more often.
Take their time.
Okay, if you introduce it in maybe the second or third episode, fine. I get it. You're trying to sell a toy, so you want to introduce the mecha, as fast as you can. But don't do it in the first episode, please.
Yeah. Some of us actually like seeing the individual mechas fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about the episode.
I very much enjoyed it. The only flaw I had with it was that in Zooland they should have had the villains be from the same universe. That was another reason to be
exactly. That's something that would have helped. If the villains were actually Zoomen, then I would have been more on board.
Yeah.
But instead, they're just some random aliens.
Again, the 100th time we have aliens before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just hope that they manage to pull out some plot twists with these villains, because I would be really open with that.
Yeah.
I hope they do something to villains as well to make it more interesting.
Yeah.
As it stands right now, that's the only weakness they have is the villains are not that great. They're actually kind of forgettable.
They really are.
Yeah.
I'll get this later on, in a later episode. Never mind.
You can have forgettable villains and still be a good Sentai. Let's be honest. Aside from Bosco, the Gokaiger villains weren't really that interesting.
Oh yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
And Barazorg.
Yeah, Barazorg to an extent, maybe.
The Barazorg was pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, aside from mainly Bosco and Barazorg, none of the villains were really that interesting in Gokaiger. So I could see them maybe in a later episode, you could bring in some guy who was from G-Land and have him be some freelance villain, because I really like it when Super Sentai does that. You have the main villain organization, and then you have this one other guy who might help them or might just do his own thing. I really like it when Sentai does that. So
yeah,
I hope
most definitely
do something like that. But yeah, I think the main consensus here is that Zyuohger looks good. Villains could use work, but overall it looks pretty good so far.
Indeed.
Yep, better than the last few years we've been having.
Yep.
So, any last thoughts? Because I think we're out of things to say about Zyuohger at this point.
I got nothing else to say.
Anthony, Ronald?
I'll say my piece.
You're done.
I'm good.
You're done, okay.
Yep.
On that note, real quick, and I'll mention this again at the start of the next episode we do later on. We're looking to expand Toku Secrets a little bit to have more podcasters on the panel with us talking. So if you've been listening to our podcast and you've been wanting to get involved with us, drop us a line on a comment or messages on our Facebook fan page with Anime Secrets. Email me, Drake at animesecrets.org. Let me know if you're interested, because we are looking to add more podcasters. So if you have any interest in talking about tokusatsu, either Sentai or Kamen Rider or something else that's Toku related,
We want you.
we want you. But yeah, I'll be making the same announcement on the start of the next video. And yeah, if you're interested, just hit us up. We're here for you. We want to expand, and we have a lot of fun. Like, you don't see this, but we have a lot of things we do before we start the video, like recording, like we do planning and all that, and we have a lot of fun doing all that stuff too. So you get to be a part of all that stuff, and yeah, we're awesome. So definitely, if you're interested, apply. Let us know you're interested. We'll audition you. It'll be great. Anyway, with that said, we are Toku Secrets, and this is our review of Zyuohger, Episode 1. For more stuff from us, go check out animesecrets.org. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on all the social media. We're great. We're awesome. Until next time, have a good night, and keep on rocking. Later, guys.
Later, guys.
Hey, you! Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. You can also check out Anime Secrets on Twitter, Tumblr, and Facebook. Do you want more than that? I know you do. Then go to our website where you can see daily updates and articles and exclusive interviews.